Wildlife trafficking is growing with a booming illegal market. It's become a big issue and people are fighting back. I'm Elaine Reyes here in Washington, D.C., and this is America's Now. First up, animals in the Amazon rainforest are being captured and sold at an alarming rate. Police conduct raids to stop the trade, but bribery is widespread.
Some people have in their house a monkey. This is common. Selling hundreds of animals a year. And you're saying I'm collecting sometimes hundreds of animals and people from outside are coming and picking them up. This is not common.
They've gone inside.
Correspondent Dan Collins reports from Peru on the multi-billion-dollar business of wildlife trafficking. Next, a newspaper in Central America published in Braille. It's good news for thousands who are visually impaired. From Guatemala, meet this week's game changer, Publi News. And later, Latinos living in Spain are an important voting bloc during elections, but they don't get voted into political office themselves. Is it the result of racism?
En la prensa de derechas.
Correspondent Jerry Hatton reports on the state of politics in Spain. Welcome to the show. The illegal trafficking of wildlife is one of the largest transnational organized criminal activities. It ranks fourth after the trafficking of drugs, arms, and of human beings. And the global market is reported to be worth up to $20 billion annually. Beyond the clear environmental impacts, this illicit trade is depriving developing economies of billions of dollars in lost revenue. America's Now travels to biodiverse Peru, home to 1/10 of the Amazon rainforest and many other ecosystems. It's a country where, despite strong economic growth, poverty persists and the illegal trade in wildlife is rampant. Correspondent Dan Collins reports.
There are more species of animals and plants in the Amazon rainforest than any other ecosystem on planet Earth. But that abundance is hanging in the balance. Thousands of species are under threat in Amazon countries like Peru due to habitat loss, hunting, and wildlife trafficking.
Peru is one of the most biodiverse nations, and its species are sought by collectors around the world. But there's also a thriving domestic trade. That's where these environmental police come in. They're stopping every vehicle that passes on this route, which leads from the Peruvian Amazon up there all the way to the coast to check for trafficked wildlife.
And just this morning in the San Martin region, where the Andes Mountains meet the Amazon jungle, they found a few unexpected passengers. 3 dehydrated boa constrictors with their mouths bound. Luis Mendo is the head of wildlife protection for this region of Peru.
Los jóvenes que están con estos animales, lo que hacen es le tapan con una cinta para que no muerda y el turista tampoco tenga miedo, ¿no? Lamentamos que hay turistas que estén haciendo, que estén prestando este tipo, ¿no?, de actividad, ¿no?, que es ilegal. Pero hay una parte que le falta al Estado también ver, ¿no?, la pobreza. Yo sé que no tiene justificación esto, pero hay muchos jóvenes que cuando ven a uno que esta actividad es rentable, porque un turista paga 5 soles por tomarse a 10 soles, así, y dicen, no, oye, mira, ahí hay dinero, entonces todo el mundo empieza a hacer el mismo.
This 3-toed sloth was found in a passing vehicle. The police take it back up the hill into the jungle and find a tree with the kind of leaves it eats. Stressed but now back in its habitat, the sloth's chances of survival are good. It's a new attitude towards Peru's abundant fauna, says environmental police officer Fabio Reyes.
La ciudadanía de la región San Martín a nivel nacional recién están tomando conciencia de la importancia, la vital importancia de lo que constituye las especies de fauna y flora silvestre y todo el medio ambiente a través de las operaciones, porque ahora antes estas acciones constituían una falta, ahora constituyen delito. En otras palabras, las personas que son intervenidas con los especímenes de fauna silvestre, se le convoca a la Fiscalía del Medio Ambiente, la unidad especializada, y se procede a detener a la persona y se le pone con los actuados a la Fiscalía, y la Fiscalía procede a la denuncia frente al Poder Judicial por el tráfico ilegal de especímenes de flora o fauna silvestre.
The laws have got tougher, but travelling deeper into the Amazon basin, we found the level of enforcement in San Martin was the exception rather than the rule.
Iquitos is the largest city in the world that's impossible to get to by road. It's an island in the middle of the Amazon rainforest, and its unique location puts it at the heart of the illicit trade in protected animals.
Peru says it has around 64 endangered animal species. Some of them you can find right here in Belén Market, ready for the pot. Here's one of the most prized meats, picuro or paca. There's also wild pig or peccary on sale, and even the meat of the endangered South American tapir. This is all illegal, but the law is openly flouted, and authorities say there's little they can do. Clelia Rengifo is in charge of controlling wildlife trafficking in the Amazon region of Loreto, an area larger than Germany.
Van al mercado Belén y quitan lo primero que ven, porque si se quedan mucho tiempo, las personas ahí se empiezan a aglomerar y de pronto tú no sabes de dónde sale en el aire un machetazo, hasta posiblemente un balazo, un cuchillo por ahí, no sabes, entonces se pone muy peligroso. Entonces no es posible adentrarse tanto, quedarse mucho tiempo porque la gente viene a tu encima.
Native communities are allowed to hunt wild animals for food, but the selling of the meat is prohibited. But old habits die hard, says this lady, butchering this protected yellow-footed tortoise, apparently while it's still alive. This animal only dies when it's in the pot, she says, and turtle soup can be eaten at any local restaurant, she adds. But we're looking for live animals like these little parrots known locally as pihuichos. Marketed as friendly and fun-loving, they can fetch several $100s in the US. We posed as tourists. Some of the footage was filmed using hidden cameras. These are freshwater turtles known as taricayas, and this infant black caiman can grow up to several meters. Both species are under threat. We've come with primate expert and activist Noga Shani to look for monkeys, and before too long, we find some.
This is a tamarin monkey and this is pygmy marmoset. And they're very, very young. They're very small. They need the mother. The woman is giving them probably feeding them on meal.
You think they'll survive without their mother?
Not many of them. The woman does know how to keep them alive, but as soon as they sell them, a lot of them die in the first few weeks because they really need their mother and they need a special meal. Yeah, it's very sad. A lot of them die. A lot of them, to catch them, they have to catch the mother. Many times they kill the mother. Many times they
How much is she selling them for?
She wanted 50 sols for it.
How much is that in dollars?
About $15. The important thing is to know that never buy these animals because when you buy them, you maybe feel that you can save them. I can save them. If I save this life, this woman will understand that no gringos, white people, they like to buy animals and they keep taking more and more animals from the wild.
Goods and produce from all over the Amazon arrive to these labyrinthine streets via a network of rivers. And that includes wildlife. We asked to see bigger monkeys, and we're taking a short river to see this man. It's a typical house in Belén with some more unusual residents. 6 species of monkey, from this squirrel monkey to a musmuki, or nocturnal owl monkey. He asks for around $70 for this baby woolly monkey. Then he halves the price. Problems with the authorities can be settled with cash, he says.
Sí, mira, pero porque se suelta, no sencillo también porque están por sencillo. It's a bribe. They're going to put a bribe to the police. A bribe,
So he can bribe the police?
Yeah, of course. Yo primero me voy a la delegación, de la delegación ya paso a ¿cómo se llama? Ecología. Y ecología ya me interviene, y una que me interviene de ecología también ya, diciendo ahí no salgo. De eso yo no le saco a mis animales así. Por el boy, por el
¿Pero cuánto quieren para
¿Cuánto? Bueno, según por la charapa, que la charapa es el más pesado. La charapa grande. No, la charapa grande. Eso, si te hallan 3, 4 animales desde ahí, lleva ya. Ese no tiene porque eso altamente prohibido la charapa.
It's forbidden.
The water.
The big water cells. Yeah. The most forbidden.
In the necessary paper, yeah. Yeah, you're going to the jail, direct.
Oh.
Cumplí los 3 años. Sale 3 años, como 3 años está saliendo. Y yo le digo, ¿cómo va a ser yo? Tengo mis hijos también, estudio mis hijos. ¿Y quién va a trabajar si yo no trabajo con mis hijos?
You say, what about my children? If I'm going to jail, who's going to care for my children? Who's going to pay for my children? Who's going to pay for their education?
The boss here.
Yeah.
But Cerullo says he's no small-time trafficker.
Me llaman de Lima, a ver, me dice, hermano, ¿sabes qué? Me dice, yo necesito tantas especies de animales. Ya, yo le junto. Y ya cuando ya está listo, y hermano, ya viene. De frente, viene allá, no acá. Allá todo lo quiere. Aquí no dejo llegar aquí a la...
Yeah, it's forbidden. I know, I'm saying to you here.
Y de esa manera que yo todo lo quiero allá. Viene a querer seguir altamente nada. Todo lo que es acá. Hoy el lagarto me han dado como 200 lagartos me han dado por allá. Para un albergue que están haciendo cerca del mar. Por ahí se ha ido sachabaques, ronzocas, tigrillos, perezosos, se ha ido los chivis, hay otra clase de animales, largas especies, loros, guacamayos, sajinos, de todo les mandan.
¿Y cómo lo mandan? ¿En vuelo?
No, mamita, ellos se van por lancha.
¿A dónde?
A Pucallpa, de Pucallpa ya va, todo es carretera.
Ya.
Todo es carretera. Para que pueda
Hasta
llegar.
la costa.
Claro, hasta lo que es. Esa es la cosa, nos mandamos de aquí.
So it goes down river to Pucallpa and then on the road to Lima, capital, and then
According place.
We say we'll return the next day to buy the baby woolly monkey. In a matter of hours, we'd found clear evidence of wildlife trafficking. So what were the authorities doing about it?
Es un tema muy controversial, es un tema muy delicado acá en nuestra región, ya que esta es la zona que se ha identificado como el origen del tráfico, por lo general. De acá salen a las fronteras, de acá se comercializa también a los países, a las fronteras, a otros.
She added they lacked resources to do the job.
El profesional es muy mal pagado y a veces esto induce a obras delictivas, ¿no? Porque la corrupción es una obra delictiva.
With information provided by Shani, the authorities decide to act.
It's just after 7 in the morning and the plainclothes environmental police and a prosecutor have come to raid the home of the suspected wildlife trafficker and seize the monkeys. They've gone inside, but apparently they can't find the trafficker, but they can find the monkeys.
But before too long, Cerullo showed up. He showed no resistance, was read his rights and arrested. The house was searched and his children went to find their mother in the market. Noga Shani tells CCTV what will happen next.
And they open a file against him, like an investigation, which hopefully will be finished with the guy sitting in jail for a few years, because this is a very serious crime that he's doing. He's been selling animals for years. He has endangered animals, and so everything is kind of amounting to a very serious thing.
how common are these kind of operations in Loreto?
They are very uncommon. Usually there's also almost nothing. No, we managed to do it because I told her that what he told us, and we told the story that he was talking about corruption and everything. So they are full of energy today to do it right.
He knows what he's doing is illegal, but what he's doing is not unusual in the context of where he lives. It's common practice. Is it right to make an example of him, this man who's
you know, clearly has a family and a family to support.
Obviously, doing this to a person with a family is always very bad, it's very sad, it's very wrong, but it's not common what he's doing. He told us yesterday that he's selling animals all over the world. He's selling it to Colombia. He knows how to bribe the police. He knows how to bribe the authorities. It is not common. Not everyone. Some people have in their house a monkey. This is common. Selling hundreds of animals a year. And you're saying I'm collecting sometimes hundreds of animals and people from outside are coming and picking them up. This is not common. He's a serious trafficker.
In the hands of the law, but it's not yet clear whether he'll get a prison sentence. Environmental prosecutor Ángela Piñero told CCTV nobody is in jail for wildlife trafficking in Peru. As he was taken to the police station, his family came alongside the motorboat, angry at his detention. The fate of the monkeys may be clearer. If they're lucky, they could end up here in the Pilpintuasi Animal Orphanage. Here, monkeys roam free from hunters. Among them, critically endangered bald-headed uacaris. They've been successfully bred here by Gudrun Spera, an Austrian who spent the last 35 years in Iquitos, caring for primates. She's one of the family to these intelligent monkeys, but she worries for their future.
Yeah, well, Pilpintuasi started as a butterfly farm, but then it turned into a rescue center, actually, because the illegal trade seemed to get worse and worse. What we try to do here is mostly, first of all, give animals a chance to rehabilitate them, give them a good quality of life, and educate people. We do guided tours, we work with tourism and with the local schools a lot, students here too, because unfortunately many people here are not conscious about the threat that there is for the animals.
What should people do when someone approaches them or they see a monkey for sale in the market?
They should denounce it. Officially the laws in Peru say you're not allowed to have a wild animal as a pet, but people sometimes don't know, not even the authorities sometimes know or don't care. So what they should do, they should denounce it, go to ecological police, and in the best case go with ecological police there. Because unfortunately, due to need and ignorance, there's a big possibility that the policeman might not confiscate the animal, but get some money.
Everyone knows that corruption harms people. But in Peru and other countries, it could be driving species of animals to extinction. The outlook seems bleak. But back in San Martin, a dedicated team vigilantly fight on, and they're getting results. Using young volunteers as spotters in a local market with hidden cameras, they identify who is selling bushmeat and swoop in.
Carne de venado, 8 kilos. Y carne majada, todos son carne.
¿Qué pena pueden recibir esas personas para vender esa carne?
Pueden recibir más que penas, son infracciones, multas. Ellos saben que está prohibido, por eso es que él colabora y todo esto, porque ya sabe que está vendiendo una cosa ilegal.
The people are angry. This man says instead of persecuting small hunters, they should be arresting the big criminals involved in illegal logging.
¿Quién autoriza? Autorizan a los que tienen plata y a los más indefensos son los que les aplican la ley. Eso es lo que pasa en el Perú.
But the message is sinking in. The meat, all 26 kilos, is donated to a local orphanage.
Para nosotros es un privilegio contar con el apoyo de ellos siempre que nos traen algún alimento para los niños y nosotros felices de recibirlos, ¿no?
In a nearby town, this stash of stuffed animals is seized. Police suspect the owner is illegally selling them.
Looking at a lot of stuffed animals, look at them, a lot of them look quite old.
Yes.
So obviously some of them shouldn't have been hunted in the first place, but is this really combating the problem of wildlife trafficking?
This shows how great this group of San Martin is working, because in other places the traffic is so big that you will never work on these little details. No, this is basically a detail. These are old animals that we're not sure if he's selling or not, but it seems that he does sell under the table. It's excellent working with this group. and seeing that they don't give up, they go over and over to the same places, they talk to the people, they don't punish, they explain.
The Wildlife Conservation Society has identified 383 animal species being trafficked in the last 10 years on well-worn routes from more than 40 markets. The vast majority, be they parrots or monkeys, don't survive, says the Society's Giovanna Murillo.
Se estima que de cada 10 animales, 9 estarían muriendo en las rutas. ¿Esto por qué? Porque existe un hacinamiento de animales, mezcla de especies. Los animales están muchos días posiblemente sin agua, sin comida, pasando situaciones de estrés que en muchos casos también los inmunodeprimen. Hay contacto entre especies, aparición de nuevas enfermedades.
In order to break the international criminal networks that supply this illicit trade, Peru, like other countries, will have to aggressively tackle corruption. Experts agree the mega biodiverse country is a hub for the billion-dollar trade, which ranks fourth after drug trafficking, arms, and the trafficking of human beings, as one of the largest transnational organized criminal activities. Jessica Galvez is head of wildlife management at Peru's Forestry and Wildlife Service.
Se sabe que se habla de millones de dólares, lo que significa los animales traficados, ¿no? Y eso está sin contabilizar, eso es con la valorización de las especies traficadas, pero no se está contabilizando lo que pierde el país, por ejemplo, como recurso, porque hay especies que son reproducidas en cautiverio, en sus criaderos, que están legalmente constituidos, y entonces también el país deja de percibir, puede decir, el importe o las divisas que puede producir ese recurso, porque lo sacan de manera ilegal.
Attitudes are changing through education. There are hopeful examples, such as this successful program to rescue orphaned manatees. These gentle aquatic herbivores were once used to adorn lagoons in people's gardens. Now the only way they can survive without their mother is being cared for here. Environmental education is having an impact, says Darwin Loja.
Muchos niños incluso apoyan en los rescates, que el padre tiene una cría en una tina, un rapicheo, en forma particular es una piscina flotante con madera. Entonces, ¿qué hace el niño? Papá, ¿por qué tienes eso si acá en Iquitos lo cuidan? Entonces, gracias al apoyo del niño, el papá se concientiza, se humaniza, y ¿qué es lo que hace? Nos llama y nosotros nos vamos a su pronto rescate, porque saben que no pueden vivir sin su mamá.
Scientists say the Earth teeters on the edge of the sixth extinction, and organised crime is playing a part in that destruction. Changing attitudes among younger generations may be the only hope to preserve the diversity of species on our planet.
In September, the world's largest wildlife conference took place in South Africa. It's called CITES, the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. And for the first time in its 40-year history, it hosted a forum on wildlife crime partnerships.
Coming up.
Central America's first Braille newspaper is big news for the visually impaired.
For them to have their own special edition and source of information had a big impact on their lives.
America's Now.
Welcome back. A Guatemalan newspaper is reaching out to a community that has never received much attention in the country, the visually impaired. More than 100,000 people in Guatemala are blind or have partial vision, so Publi News is now printing an edition in Braille, making it the first of its kind in Central America. The newspaper is this week's game changer.
No se sabe con exactitud cuántas personas hay con discapacidad, tanto visual como auditiva. No hay un dato exacto que nos permita a nosotros decir dónde están, dónde es donde hay más necesidades. Mi nombre es Edilzar Castro Quirós.
Ratificado
por 20 estados juramentan al nuevo ministro.
Soy el director de la División de Educación y Rehabilitación del Benemérito Comité Pro Sordos de Guatemala.
Publinews Braille.
Y el Publinews Braille surge como una alternativa para que una persona tenga acceso a la información en general, acceso a leer una noticia, a leer una información que le puede servir bastante, no solo en su conocimiento, sino también en el conocimiento mismo de las circunstancias que están dando a nivel mundial, a nivel nacional, las noticias cotidianas. Es una nueva área, digamos, de comunicación en el cual una persona con discapacidad va a aprovecharlo y ese aprovechamiento va a servirle a su formación, a su conocimiento, a su acervo cultural, que también es importante no solo en su vida diaria, sino también en su formación educativa.
Mi nombre es María Fernanda Lucero, yo soy la gerente de mercadeo de Publinews Guatemala. Publinews es un periódico gratuito que se distribuye todos los días, de lunes a viernes, con la información más importante para que los guatemaltecos se enteren del acontecer nacional e internacional. En Guatemala surge la idea por un tema de innovación, que después se convirtió en un tema de responsabilidad social, porque cuando empezamos a investigar sobre el acceso a la información de las personas no videntes, nos dimos cuenta que era bastante limitado. Nosotros nos vimos en la necesidad de llevarles un ejemplar especial dedicado a ellos con información importante, que ellos pudieran, de hecho, hasta servirles como un material de aprendizaje, ¿verdad? Porque lo utilizaban también en escuelas y en centros de rehabilitación que personas no videntes utilizan aquí en Guatemala. Expectativa a que nosotros íbamos a lanzar nuestra edición en braille, que está escrita al derecho. La sociedad en general no está pensada en ellos, entonces que ellos recibieran una edición especial pensada para ellos fue algo sumamente impactante para la vida de ellos y muy agradecidos ellos de que algún medio de comunicación pensara en dedicarles información específica, ¿verdad?
Como persona vidente que yo fui, ¿verdad? Uno está acostumbrado a leer con los ojos, ¿verdad? Ya, pero cuando yo quedé ciego, pues dije yo, no, pues de plano, pues ya no voy a poder leer, ¿verdad? Tengo yo un tope para hacer ciertas cuestiones. Así como lo es Publinews, ¿verdad? Que nos ha dado esta herramienta, ¿verdad? Con la facilidad del braille, ¿verdad? Nos informamos como cualquier persona vidente, ¿verdad? Nosotros los no videntes también nos informamos por medio de Publinews. Lo que sí te sé decir es de que Publinews es excelente, o sea, está excelente el trabajo que están realizando con el braille, o sea, Publinews en braille.
A medida que se tiene esa oportunidad de lectura, pues también hay oportunidad de intercambiar, de interaccionarse con otras personas, y eso es importante, porque también tienen derecho a la información, tienen derecho a tener cada día mejores recursos para formarse, y es una alternativa, es un vehículo para que estas personas, los discapacitados visuales, puedan informarse, formarse, educarse y con ello poder tener una interacción dentro de la sociedad mucho mejor que si no tuvieran este acceso.
The first edition of 2500 was distributed around the country, and new editions will be printed as monthly news magazines. We'd love to have your input, so if you know someone who's helping change the world, drop us a line at an@cctv-america.com or tweet us at cctv_America and tell us about a game changer you would like to see on America's Now.
Coming up.
Latinos in Spain fighting for their political life.
There are a lot of people who are disenfranchised with the political system. They say, why am I going to vote if the same people are going to win?
America's Now.
Welcome back to America's Now. Despite hundreds of years of shared history and culture, even a common language, Latinos in Spain face hurdles entering politics. Many have run for office, but Spain's complex voting system means they rarely win, even with the apparent support of the major political parties. The open secret here, some Latinos say, is that they're used to win votes, then held back by deeply rooted racism. CCTV's Jerry Haddon reports from Madrid.
Marisol Morena has a problem. Summer has arrived, but her bar is empty.
Usted sabe que en el verano la gente no entra a los bares. ¿Qué quiere? ¿Una terraza?
For outside tables, Morena needs a license. The 43-year-old Ecuadorian says she applied for one over 6 months ago. Desperate for business, she's jumped the gun and paid a price, more than once.
La gente latina somos muy emprendedores. Yo he arriesgado todo mi capital. Yo pude haberme llevado mi dinero a mi país o no. No lo he hecho. ¿Cómo demuestro que quiero a España? ¿Cómo más les puedo demostrar y decirles, oye, mira, yo me siento a gusto aquí y todo lo que yo tengo lo quiero poner aquí, no me lo quiero llevar fuera de este país? Eso no lo entiende nadie. Todos son pegas, multas. Fíjese, ayer una multa de 1.500 euros.
1,500 euros. That's more than most people here earn in a month. Morena says she thinks her predicament is more than just red tape, because the guy who owns the other bar on this square has tables outside too, without a license, Morena says, but no one finds him.
Viene la policía del ayuntamiento, va al bar de al frente y toma café. O sea, tú me quieres multar a mí, sí, mútame, pero ¿y por qué ellos no? Yo tengo pruebas.
¿Él es latino también?
No, es español.
Ah, ¿y tú crees que ahí está?
Hombre, yo creo que sí. O sea,
Morena has lived in Spain for 23 years. She's now a Spanish citizen. She says she's never felt racism here until recently. Perhaps because of the ongoing economic crisis, maybe because of a European-wide trend towards nationalism, xenophobia. She's unsure.
¿Tú te sientes representada en algún sitio?
Espero que mi hija, ahora que quiere ser abogada, llegue algún día.
Daughter to become a lawyer to defend you. That says a lot about how unprotected some Latinos in Spain feel. There are more than 2 million of them, Spain's second largest minority. Yet you can count on your fingers the number of Latinos elected to public office. Among them is Romy Arce, born in Peru. She and her mother came to Spain penniless when she was 15. Arce has long been an activist defending the underprivileged. A few months ago, she became the first Latin American to Madrid City Council. She represents Vallecas, a neighborhood of immigrants from all over Latin America and elsewhere. Much of her work on the council is educating them about their rights.
Si enfermas, pide una cita.
Decidimos hacer una campaña en contra de la exclusión sanitaria, porque el gobierno español aprobó una ley que excluía de la atención sanitaria a los migrantes por una parte y a los parados de larga duración.
If that's you, from elsewhere, undocumented or unemployed, and you get sick, you have to pay. Arce says the policy is wrong and offers support to those who defy the legislation.
¿Y por qué te metiste en la política?
Bueno, yo siempre he tenido muchas inquietudes y bueno, creo que también las propias experiencias que uno ha pasado, ¿no? La experiencia migratoria es una experiencia difícil, dura, ¿no?
En la política, ¿qué has querido hacer para los inmigrantes?
Podemos ser mucho más sensibles, ¿no?, a determinada población, pero también estamos incidiendo más en planes de convivencia, ¿no?, el poder contar con equipos de mediadores que faciliten la integración de los jóvenes, los niños y también obviamente los adultos.
Hay mucho obstáculo en España a la hora de entrar en la política, como postularse como candidato, estar en las listas y conseguir un escaño o una posición pública.
Afortunadamente las nuevas formaciones políticas que son fruto de todo ese movimiento popular pues la participación de migrantes es algo natural, no es algo que hayamos tenido que pelear, es que estábamos allí porque formamos parte de la sociedad.
Spain saw massive protests against the status quo and the banking-led economic crisis in 2009 and 10. Out of it grew Podemos, a left-wing party now decisive in Spanish politics. Those on the right are little pleased.
En la prensa de derechas, si pones tu nombre en Google, salen artículos y comentarios y críticas. ¿Afecta tu trabajo?
Nosotros no debemos hacer caso de este tipo de comentarios ni, bueno, ¿por qué no decirlo? Son insultos, además insultos con un sesgo de clase, con un sesgo de raza y con un sesgo de género. Entonces, yo creo que eso dice mucho de lo mucho que tiene que cambiar, ¿no?
Though Arce doesn't know bar owner Marisol Morena, they both sense a growing movement in Spain, a movement hostile to immigrants. The movement is patriotic and nationalist, like Make Spain Great Again. Many consider them neo-fascists in reference to Spain's late dictator, General Francisco Franco, who died in 1975. This is the old headquarters of Spanish TV under Franco. Today, about 300 self-proclaimed patriots squat here. They're a collective calling themselves Madrid Social Home. Their spokeswoman, she denies her group is fascist. What's fascist about a food bank, right? Spain needs them. Unemployment is at over 20%.
Lo que hacemos aquí es durante toda la semana hacemos varias recogidas de alimentos y luego los domingos los repartimos a familias, que nosotros ayudamos unas 320 y suelen coincidir en cada reparto unas 100 aproximadamente. Y los repartimos en función de las necesidades o del número de personas en la familia. Si por ejemplo son 5 miembros de la familia, pues se les da 5 litros de leche, legumbres, arroz, verdura, carne.
But the key difference between this and other charities, Madrid Social Home only helps other Spaniards. If you're an immigrant, take your grumbling belly elsewhere.
Lo que no podemos hacer es ser tan hipócritas de ayudar primero a los de fuera mientras pasan hambre los de dentro.
Ruiz says when immigrants do happen by, they direct them to the dozens of other agencies already set up to assist them specifically.
La inmigración sudamericana, hay una parte que es más tranquila, pues la peruana, la ecuatoriana, pero luego tenemos la dominicana, que es muy fuerte aquí en Madrid y muy problemática. No tiene un concepto de civilización que sea compatible con el nuestro y genera muchos problemas.
That's the kind of commentary that drives bar owner Morena nuts. She says the solution, to flood Madrid with more Latino festivals, with Latino music and dance, so that integration works in both directions.
Pues me parece una tontería, y te digo porque integración no es cuando tú vas a un país que no es tuyo, tú te integras con las costumbres de ese país, no al revés. O sea, yo como española no me tengo que acostumbrar a ver en las fiestas tradicionales de mi ciudad sus borracheras, a ver sus reyertas, a ver sus bailes de reggaetón, porque no es mi cultura.
Ruiz's group marches routinely through Madrid's immigrant neighborhoods, shouting slogans like, "Go home."
Tú si mezclas 4 cubos de colores distintos y los echas, no te sale una bandera arcoíris preciosa, te sale una mancha marrón. Al final, ¿quién pierde? Identidad, y pierde la identidad del inmigrante, porque si se mezclan, si se fusionan, al final ninguna identidad se preserva.
For Spain's far right, it's all about identity. But even among Spaniards, identity cuts both ways. In the northeast region of Catalonia, a vocal minority want independence, leaving Spain's far right, indeed all of Spain, behind forever. The Catalans have their own language and culture, and these protesters say Madrid oppresses them. Among today's march leaders is an unlikely figure, Ana Surra. Surra is a 1960s activist and guerrilla fighter from Uruguay. She's got dual citizenship now. For her, the Catalan struggle harkens back to her youthful, albeit armed, fight against dictatorship back home.
O sea, esta lucha tiene la misma dinámica que la lucha que tenías en Uruguay, que ha tenido toda América Latina. Es una lucha contra un imperio.
Exacto, claro.
Esta lucha tiene en gran parte, es la lucha de preservar una cierta identidad muy concreta. ¿Cómo te puedes identificar y formar parte siendo otro, entre comillas?
Porque justamente ese es un país de acogida. Fíjate que somos un 20% de la sociedad, los inmigrantes. Es un país que la gente integra a los demás, no los separa.
Señor Rajoy, usted no sabe de lo que habla. Yo fui refugiada.
On the contrary, Surra was elected to represent Catalonia in Spain's parliament, where she's had the chance to take a swipe or two at Mariano Rajoy, Spain's center-right prime minister.
Esto no es una enfermedad. Esto no es una enfermedad, no se contagia. Esto es una situación administrativa.
On this occasion, for his reluctance to take in refugees from Syria.
Nosotros pensamos, primero, el problema de trabajo. La gente no tiene trabajo. Si el expolio se para, es decir, el dinero que se queda aquí, habría trabajo para todos, por lo tanto para nosotros también. Segundo, papeles, o sea, nos limitan con los papeles para manejarnos. Entonces nosotros queremos vivir dignamente y estar seguros que podemos quedarnos acá. Y eso es, con la República Catalana nosotros vamos a tener, el minuto cero vamos a ser todos ciudadanos catalanes.
Independence for Catalonia as a fast track for Latinos to get passports. For Surra and the Catalan separatists, it's a win-win. But Surra agrees with Madrid City Council member Rome Arce that deep-seated racism means they're the exception in Spanish politics. A quick primer on how Spanish elections work. Here you vote for a party, not a candidate. The party makes its list of who it wants in office, in order. Latinos say they're almost always on the list, which makes the party look inclusive. But they're so far down on it that even if their party wins big, by the time their number is called, the seats of power are filled. Spanish political parties vehemently deny such accusations, but such is the discouragement that some Latinos in Spain are channeling their energy into politics back home. Dominican Marta Trujillo is running for parliament in Santo Domingo to represent the roughly 20,000 Dominicans here.
¿Qué podrías hacer como una sola diputada tan lejos de casa para tu gente aquí en España?
Exactamente, fíjate, yo haría un despacho donde yo recibir las personas, porque es muy importante el trato, ¿no? El calor humano. Entonces, trabajaría también desde mi sueldo, voy a dejar una parte para hacer un fondo social para los dominicanos aquí.
Or, she says, helping reduce the costs of passport renewals at the Dominican consulate. For Trujillo, campaigning means glad handing around Barcelona where Dominicans hang out.
Hay mucho desencanto en la población también, ¿sabes? Hay mucha gente que dice, ¿para qué voy a votar si van a ganar lo mismo? Han hecho tan mal las cosas que lo que han hecho es desencantar.
Or even to unite as a community, says this bar owner named Wilson.
Se está luchando más o menos de que la juventud tenga un cambio, porque en estos últimos 5 o 6 años, o quizá menos, han estado pasando muchos sucesos, mucha delincuencia, y estamos tratando de que se evite eso.
¿Por qué no formáis un nuevo partido solo de latinos?
Exactamente, en eso precisamente estamos, porque debemos hacer un partido de inmigrantes.
Aunque ganando 2 escaños, es más que tenéis ahora.
Exactamente, porque es de la única manera que nosotros podemos luchar contra el racismo institucional.
A Spanish Latino political party, in order to forget the left and right, who, Latinos say, are too quick to forget them.
Dominican Marta Trujillo lost her bid to represent her people from Spain, but she continues her work as an activist. Domestically, Spain has finally formed a new government after nearly a year of elections ending in deadlock. Mariano Rajoy, the center-right Popular Party, has narrowly avoided a third round of voting to stay on as prime minister. There are no Latinos in his new cabinet.
Coming up,
a storyteller whose words are inspired by sounds.
I tend to see writing and language from a similar perspective I see music. For me, music is just another language.
America's Now.
Welcome back. From young adult to mystery, intrigue, and romance, Carlos Ruiz Zafón's books have sold millions of copies and won several awards. He is one of the most read authors in the world, as his novels have been translated into 40 languages. He is originally from Barcelona, Spain, splitting time between there and Los Angeles, finding the time he needs for creative writing and sometimes playing the piano, his second passion. Carlos is this week's Urban Voice.
Stories are not about what we think they are about. Stories are about the way the story is told. My name is Carlos Rizafón. I'm a writer from Barcelona, and in my free time I The great frustration of my life, if I have one, probably is that I never had a music education. I wanted to have a full-blown music education. I would have loved that, to have that opportunity to really develop whatever talent I had for music. I could never do it, so I became an amateur musician, self-taught. I think that because I'm interested in writing music and composing, that the piano itself, perhaps, is the orchestra, is the instrument.
A sensational talent sparked from a desire for using words, communicating, and storytelling.
I tend to see writing and language from a similar perspective I see music. For me, music is just another language. When I'm writing prose, when I'm writing fiction, I'm very aware of this, and I tend to think as an orchestrator.
The bond between language and music can be traced back for centuries. Even before Spain's greatest writer, Miguel de Cervantes, the connection, a mutual stimulation.
I think of every word in terms of color, of timbre. I think about the dynamics. I think about different sections to achieve a narrative effect, to create tension, to create a pace, to create tempo, to create many effects of light and dark. And when I'm writing something and constructing a sentence, a paragraph, I think of it as a piece of music that needs to tell a story. But the real essence of a storytelling is about the staging, about how we tell the story, how we work the language. And this is something I feel it's true for any genre, for anything. And if we are telling the story in an efficient, in the right way, in a way that really does justice to the characters, to the world, to the universe, to the narrative we want to transmit, what the reader will receive is that. Is the story, is the characters, is the world, but the essence, the vehicle, the structure that really enables that to happen is the language, and that is the first and single foremost important element in any piece of creative writing.
Siempre he sabido que algún día volvería a estas calles para contar la historia del hombre que perdió el alma y el nombre entre las sombras de aquella Barcelona sumergida en el turbio sueño de un tiempo de cenizas y silencio.
His most ambitious work has been translated into multiple languages. The Cemetery of Forgotten Books series is a magnificent web of literature set in 20th century Spain.
The idea of the Cemetery of Forgotten Books, beyond that fantastical library, this labyrinth of books hidden in a palace in the old town of Barcelona, is a metaphor not just for forgotten books, but for forgotten ideas, for forgotten people, for memory. After 15 years working on the saga, I finally finished the fourth and last book, and the title of the book is The Labyrinth of the Spirits. This is the grand finale to the saga. This is the place where we made all the characters, all the subplots, all the lines, all the elements of the three previous novels, and where everything clicks and is in a gigantic clockwork mechanism that finally the labyrinth that we may have explored through different doors because the idea always was with the saga that it was not necessarily a sequential story, but that was a kind of a big labyrinth of stories in which you could enter through different doors, a Chinese box of fictions. You could read first the third book or the second and the first in any order, and depending on what was the route you picked, what was the door of entry, your experience of the characters, of the stories of this world would be different, and you would see things from different angles that would allow you to think of the characters and see things in them that were very different.
Calculated that he's the most read author from Spain since Cervantes.
By giving life to fictitious characters and setting the stage for them, Carlos Ruiz Zafón will continue crafting his best product, intriguing tales.
The struggle is always trying to find a way in how to make a living doing what you love. I'm here still standing, and I hope to continue doing it until they knock me down.
For years, filmmakers have tried to take his Cemetery of Forgotten Books series to the big screen. But Zafón has turned down the movie offers because he feels it would betray literature.
America's Next.
Finally, we head to Santiago, Chile for a look inside Beijing's Forbidden City during the Qing Dynasty. A special exhibit called Forbidden City Imperial China is on display with more than 200 pieces of artwork and artifacts from the Palace Museum. We leave you with images of the special cultural exchange between China and Latin America. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week for another edition of America's Now.